Welcome to Mindful Minutes podcast with Breathe and Talk. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jenny. Today's topic is incredibly important, though it's also a difficult one. In-house sexual abuse. We'll be discussing what to do if you find yourself in this situation, the long-term effects of such abuse, and how to stop the perpetrators. We're going to dive deep into the impacts of this crime, not just on the victims, but also on the community. If you're tuning in today, we want to thank you for being a part of this vital conversation.
Let's start by talking about what you can do if you're experiencing in-house sexual abuse. This type of abuse, which happens within the home or by someone close to you, is particularly insidious because it involves a deep betrayal of trust.
That's right, Alex. The first and most important thing to know is that if you're in this situation, it's not your fault. Abusers often try to make their victims feel responsible, but the blame lies entirely with the perpetrator. The second step is to tell someone you trust. This could be a teacher, a friend, a counselor, or a helpline. It's crucial to break the silence and get help.
And if you don't feel safe telling someone close to you, there are organizations specifically designed to help victims of abuse. They can provide shelter, counseling, and legal assistance. Remember, you have the right to be safe and you deserve support.
Now, let's talk about the long-term effects of this kind of abuse. When someone is sexually abused, especially by a family member or someone they know, the emotional and psychological damage can be profound and long-lasting. Victims often struggle with issues like depression, anxiety, and PTSD. These effects can linger well into adulthood, making it difficult to form healthy relationships, hold down jobs, or even trust others.
That's right, Jenny. The trauma from in-house sexual abuse can become a shadow that follows a person throughout their life. It affects self-esteem, often leading to feelings of worthlessness or self-blame. Many survivors also develop coping mechanisms that are harmful, such as substance abuse, eating disorders, or self-harm. It's important to understand that these are not signs of weakness, but rather signs of deep, unresolved pain.
And it's not just emotional or psychological damage. The abuse can also have physical consequences, including chronic health issues and problems related to sexual health. It's a cycle of pain that keeps going unless it's addressed and treated.
We also need to address those who might be perpetrating this abuse. If you're someone who has committed or is thinking about committing such an act, you need to understand the gravity of what you're doing. You're not just harming someone in the moment. You're setting them on a path of long-term suffering. The pain you inflict doesn't end when the abuse stops.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It lingers, often for a lifetime.
Abusing someone isn't just a crime. It's a profound violation of trust and humanity. You may think you're getting away with it, but the damage you cause is immense. Every act of abuse is a scar on the soul of the person you hurt, and those scars don't just fade. They affect every aspect of that person's life. It's time to stop and seek help, because continuing down this path will only lead to devastation for everyone involved.
Now, we need to talk about something that's equally disturbing. Mothers who know their child is being abused but choose to ignore it, blame the child, or pretend it isn't happening. This is a tough subject, but it's one that has to be addressed.
That's definitely true.
Jenny, do you want to take this one?
So true. Definitely, Alex. Now let's be clear. A mother's role is to protect her child, not to shield the abuser. Unfortunately, there are situations where mothers, out of fear, denial, or misguided loyalty, choose to turn a blind eye. This is not just neglect, it's a betrayal that compounds the trauma of the abuse. Imagine the heartbreak of a child who finally musters the courage to tell their mother about the abuse, only to be dismissed, blamed, or ignored.
So true. I want to share a real life story, one that's sadly all too common. There was a young girl who was being abused by her stepfather. She bravely told her mother, hoping for protection. But instead of confronting the abuser or seeking help, the mother accused her daughter of lying, saying she was trying to break up the family. The mother even went as far as blaming the child, saying she must have done something to lead him on.
The long-term effects of this kind of response are devastating, as in I sincerely cannot emphasize enough or properly how deep this cuts. The child not only suffers from the abuse, but also from the deep emotional wound of being betrayed by the very person who was supposed to protect her. This can lead to severe depression, anxiety, and a feeling of worthlessness that can last a lifetime.
So, to any mother out there who's in this position, please understand. Ignoring the abuse, blaming the victim, or pretending it isn't happening is not just wrong, it's an unforgivable betrayal. You're allowing the abuse to continue, and you're amplifying the pain your child is already experiencing. Stand up for your child, protect them, support them, and hold the abuser accountable. Your child's life and future depends on it.
As we come to the close of this episode, we want to acknowledge those who might be feeling triggered or reminded of their own painful experiences by our discussion today. We are deeply sorry for any distress this has caused. Please know that you are not alone and that help is available.
If you're currently going through this, please reach out to someone you trust, a friend, a teacher, a counselor, or a support organization. If you don't have access to any, you can maybe try the church. You don't have to face this alone. There are people who care about you and want to help.
If you don't know where to start, there are helplines and support groups that specialize in helping survivors of sexual abuse. Don't hesitate to reach out to them. Your safety and well-being are the top priority.
And if you're a parent, a caregiver, or someone who suspects that abuse might be happening, don't stay silent. Speak up, ask questions, and take action. You might be the lifeline someone desperately needs.
Thank you for joining us on this difficult but necessary conversation. Remember, we're all in this together, and by speaking out and supporting each other, we can make a difference. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.